Hi, George here with another video about how sometimes generative AI fails. And we'll be doing a simple project here, something which I've done in the past with the same picture, and that's just to change the color of that jacket. Sounds like a very easy thing to do. Let's see how this works with the generative AI, and then I'll show you how to do it without using generative AI. Okay, first thing as always, let's go ahead and make a duplicate of the background over here. Choose OK. Now we're in Photoshop Elements 2026. And if you need more training on this program, I have a complete training course for this. I'll put a link for that in the description. Let's go up here to Select, come down to Subject. We'll get our subject selected. There we go. And now let's take out the stuff that we don't want. So I'll just zoom in here. And let's come down and set our selection brush to Subtract. And let's just brush over the things that we don't want to have in our selections. This is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to be really critical about this because AI is very good at finding edges and then fixing those for you, so you don't have to be as careful as you would with a normal picture. I'm not going to make it super perfect, but I'm also not going to be super sloppy about this. There we go, up around here. Now, taking out that hair, that's a tricky part on this particular picture. That's why I use this one. That's real hard to do. We'll get to that in just a second here. Okay, the whole head comes out, and then in here, most of this I'm going to take out like that. And I'll leave a little bit in there, but not much. There we go. And let's get rid of the rest of the head up here and just paint that out of our selection. So anything that's red in this instance is not going to be selected. That's being masked out with a red mask. And get the hair right over here on this side. There we go. Okay, hold the space bar down. My brush size is too big for this, so I'll use the left square bracket key to come down quite a bit. So we can get in here and get this little center section. Come down kind of like that. Again, I'm not being really super critical about this. Just getting most of it in there. We get that corner right there. And same thing down through here. Let's just get this section in here. Just like that. And then bring my brush size up. And then get this whole middle section. And then I want to get rid of the rest of the skirt and, of course, the legs down below that. So I'll just come in and paint those out. And what we'll be left with is a fairly okay selection of just the jacket. And that's all that we really need for any kind of AI because it can, again, find the edges on that and it's not as critical. Okay, much larger brush size here just to quickly finish off the rest of this. And that was the right square bracket key and space bar just to move the picture. There we go. And finish that off right down there. All right, Control-0 to fit screen again. Okay, over here, missed this hand, so we can get that real fast right here. There we go. So aside from some of the hair, it's just the jacket that's left. Let's see if it can change the color of that jacket. So over here to Gen AI, I'll choose the Insert Object, and then let's just type this in. Now, I've tried this two ways. I tried it with just saying blue jacket, and I tried with saying change color to blue. It gives me the same results either way, so I'll just type in blue jacket here. Now, AI should be smart enough to figure that out. It should know, okay, that's a jacket, and it should be blue. Let's see what happens. And let it think this process through here. It'll take a little bit of time depending upon what you're doing because it does have to put this up onto the server over on Adobe servers and then bring this back down again. And here we go. That's definitely not a blue jacket, more of a black jacket. On this one, it took the jacket out and it also gave her tattoos. Kind of odd. Again, took the jacket out and gave her long sleeves. And once again, long sleeves, kind of weird on the wrist over here. So there's the original. And here's the new version with that not so blue jacket in there. Actually, the AI has simply removed the jacket and given me different options without a jacket on there. So that's just kind of weird. Okay, so it doesn't work for this. You would think it would, but it can't handle this. It can't handle these color change concepts. I tried a few of these. I've tried changing the color of different objects, and it just can't handle this. All right, let's now go ahead and see how we can do this. I'll use the Control-Z and back up until we get back to our selection. Just undo these steps that we did in here. Won't take us very long. Okay, we're back to our selection. This time, since I have a selection, I'll go over here to a select tool. It doesn't matter which one you use. Let's set this at selection. And then I'll come down to refine edge. It's be a lot better with the edge refined. And we'll just brush in here where the hair is. And try to improve the quality of that. And same thing over here. And I think we can catch the edges of this jacket by refining the edge as well. This tool is very good at this kind of a thing where we can spot where the differences are and it will give us a real nice clean edge. I'll do the hand right there. Let's get this out of the way and do the hand right over here. Okay, so we have a real nice selection now. Now all we need to do is go up here to Layer, come down to New Adjustment Layer, Hue Saturation, choose Use Previous Layer, choose OK, and then simply move your Hue control in here, and we can change the jacket to just about any color that we want. That easy. So an example of how the generative AI simply cannot do this particular project. It can't figure it out. A bit darker and kind of bluish in there. That's kind of nice. Or kind of a purple. I think that looks really good. Or maybe more of a light color, kind of a pumpkin color like that. I like that. So again, easy project with your regular tools here in Photoshop Elements, and something that the new generative AI simply can't figure it out. But it isn't the only solution. Sometimes you have to use a different tool, and sometimes other tools are just a whole lot easier. So don't think of it as a cure-all. It's phenomenal for what it can do, and it's kind of funny for what it can't do. If you want to find out more about how to use generative AI properly and all the other new tools here in Photoshop Elements 2026, take a look at my complete training course for Photoshop Elements 2026. I'll put a link for that at the top of the description. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of these videos in the future, and I'll see you next time.